everyone. I'm Frank Stanisci, also known as Candid. See, Candid Frank Live, of course, is the show that we're doing. Welcome to it, the Spanglish World Network on Zingo TV channel 250. Please remember to download the Zingo TV app at the respective app stores for iOS and Android devices. While you download, make sure you rate and leave a comment. Both apps are absolutely free. Zingo TV is available on Google Chromecast, Amazon Fire, Fire TV sticks, Roku sticks, and also on all smart TVs 2016 forward. Now on Candid Frank Live, joining me is Aaron William Freeland, and also a surprise guest. We'll see if he makes it here, David Morassutti. So let's start with Aaron. Aaron, how you doing?
Doing good in yourself, Frank.
How are you? I'm doing great. I'm not feeling. I'm a little under the weather. Just the old well, just simply the old age is catching up to me, I think. And yeah. Did I mention I'm not feeling that well? The old age is catching up to me.
Yeah, it sounds like you could have memory problems too. I mean, I've been trying to take ginkgo biloba to help with that, but I can never remember to take it.
I would, but I don't know if it'll help because I haven't been feeling well lately.
I hadn't noticed.
You hadn't noticed? There's only one thing that could make me look more crazy, and that is I'm not sure. Well, anyway, you know what makes me laugh is I'm listening to some of these athletes who are talking about not taking the vaccine. They have me at the point of hilarity.
Oh, the athletes that are claiming that, I've already had COVID, so I've got natural immunity, I don't need to take it, seem to forget that natural immunity only lasts about 3 to 6 months.
Yeah,
so you're better off to take the vaccine.
And then the one that said, well, I'm not taking the vaccine. It doesn't work anyway. Because if you're taking the vaccine and you're still getting the disease, what good is it? Well, let's see. You go in the hospital if you don't have it. You might not go. You probably won't go into the hospital if you have the vaccine. So, yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I just think, we've become a world of a reflection of the internet. It's like life is now a Facebook page. There's no understanding the difference between reality and something else, because the something else is just, we're seeing it in a world where it really doesn't matter. I mean, I don't know. Has it ever been a place where the truth matters? Has it ever been a place where logic rules? I'm beginning to wonder whether it ever.
It's always been an area of doubt in my mind.
It's a TikTok world. That must be getting a message over is that you, Eduardo, or is that other person that you live with? Okay, so I told David to come in at 6. I guess he isn't here yet. So let's start with the show, and we'll start by we'll save the CFL talk for when David shows up, if and when he does. Let's talk about the Maple Leafs, and what's this about this UHL team demands a reconsideration of Deniskin's suspension? What's going on?
So I'm not sure if you're aware, but over the weekend there was a certain gesture made by a player in the Ukrainian Hockey League where he mimed peeling and eating a banana at a black player. Now,
nice.
This is a common racist action.
Reference to as well.
So HC Donbass, that's the UHL team that Jalen Schmerich plays for, says they only gave him 13 games. But here's the kicker. Only 3 are actually mandatory. The other 10 he can get rid of by paying a fine of approximately $188 US per game.
How much does he get paid?
I'm not sure what they're paid in that particular league, unfortunately, Frank. They're not
not
on cap friendly, so
no, but I suspect they're not. Yeah, I suspect they're not making millions. So I mean,
basically what they're doing is they're saying, he's only be given 3 because that's all we have it in the rules for. We've given him the supplemental 10 games on top of that 3, but he doesn't have to sit those out. He can just pay a $188 fine per game to shorten his suspension. So HC Donbass.
What's the name of the team?
HC Donbass is the team that Jalen Schmerich plays for. He was the player that was insulted.
I thought it was a different man. I thought you were saying HC Dumbass.
No.
Wasn't HC Dumbass? Because it sounds to me like the team's HC Dumbass. This is like, I mean, how far down the road are we in as far as realizing that, it's time to stop this racial stuff. It's like, man, talk about getting late to the party.
And the problem is that it seems that hockey has always been slow on the uptake.
Yeah,
They were slow when it comes to
I don't know.
helmets. They're slow when it comes to concussion injuries. They're slow
I
when it
hear
comes
you.
to hitting from behind. They're slow when it comes to this
I just
and
don't think
quality.
I
And
just don't
it's
think
just
there's an excuse for it, Aaron.
no. And it's not that hockey's going woke if they do all of a sudden
Well,
recognize this.
they are
Eh,
kind of, they're trying. At least Rogers is trying. I mean, they have
Well,
on the panel for the Leaf games, they have 2 black folks and a white
no,
guy and a Jewish guy.
and
So,
it's
there's some sensitivity going on there with representation on the television, I think.
no, but and when I say it's not a case of hockey going woke, it's a case of them catching up with the times.
No,
You
but
know,
that's people in general haven't caught up
yeah,
with the times, right? I
which is
mean,
unfortunate because racism is a curb this high that's really easy to get over. As long as you're not shuffling your feet like a Neanderthal.
uh,
Apologies to Neanderthals, it's really easy to get over.
yeah, really, why drag them into this?
Yeah,
I mean,
they're not around to complain, really.
well, that's what happens when you don't change.
Evolve.
Evolve. Exactly. That's the whole point. That's the whole point. So Vail expects to free all 39 trapped Canadian miners. Gee, I hope so.
Yeah, so this was something that cropped up over the weekend. Um, there was a nickel mine that's the Totten mine in Sudbury. Now they're saying 30 employees there actually have been rescued, so that's a good thing. There was an excavator that was being transported into the mine that got dislodged and blocked the shaft. So the employees had gone to refuge stations, had access to food and water, and had been in contact with the above ground staff. So it's not that big of a deal. They were able to climb out, a long climb, but there you have it. So those individuals are safe.
Thank goodness. Well, when your business goes to pot,
Sometimes it goes up in smoke.
absolutely. So apparently, Aurora Cannabis is not making a lot of, in fact, down 45% in the fourth quarter. Do you think this might have something to do with, you know, when they made it legal, when they made pot legal, I think there was a lot of voyeurism. There's a lot of try it folks, and I think for some people, it isn't for some people, and they've realized it. Or is there another reason?
There are a couple different factors in this sort of thing. Um, One part of that is now with people spending more time at home, they've taken to growing their own as opposed
Mm-hmm.
to buying
So
from
it's not
sources
about
like that.
consumption. It's not about consumption.
It's not necessarily about consumption, it's about sourcing. So,
Yes.
I mean, the thing is, their sales are up
Uh-huh.
a little bit for the quarter ending June 30th. Their sales were up about $3 million over the fourth quarter of 2020. At the same time, they've also reported a net loss of $135.1 million as of June 30th, as opposed to $1.86 billion a year earlier. So they're not making as much as they were because more people are doing it at home.
And I don't think people have as much money to burn.
No, and you know what? I have a friend in the condo who's growing his own. So
Oh, all right. Does he have a number?
he stopped buying. If you want it, I can get it for you, friend. I wouldn't trust it though.
What was he cutting it with Javix?
It's more a comment on him.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay, so snowbirds, I return to Florida even as Sunshine State battles COVID-19. I mean, I was one of those people. My intention was in retirement to go, and the pandemic hit. That's why we ended up having to get a house because we weren't, we couldn't live where we wanted to live. We had a summer place, and it was only there in the summer. And so I guess folks now are trying to get back to the way things used to be for some that already were snowbirds, and then the ones who planned on being.
And I mean, this is obviously you're taking your life into your own hands with this sort of thing because Florida isn't exactly the best place when it comes to this sort of thing. As long as you're double vaxxed, though, and you take the proper precautions. And it's not, I don't really think it's the vast majority of Floridians. It's just Floridians behaving badly, which make everybody look worse.
Well, it's a lot like some of the, memes and videos you see about Walmart. Not every Walmart's the same, but it gets a reputation, right? Because a few things happen on a regular basis. It's like Costco parking lot scuffles.
Yeah, yeah, or Target supply problems.
Exactly. There you
Yeah.
go. 3 Trump associates, including Marvel exec, tried to get the Department of Veteran Affairs to sell vets' medical records for profit. How does that work?
Yeah. So back in January, Trump said he'd assembled a team to sort of straighten out the VA because our vets have been treated horribly.
Right.
Uh, there were an individual named Perlmutter, who was a major Trump donor, a Mar-a-Lago member, and a Marvel Studios executive. Mark Sherman, a Washington, D.C. lawyer, and Dr. Bruce Moskowitz, a West Palm Beach, Florida physician. They all started advising the VA on budgeting and contracting issues, and they soon began to advance the idea of selling veterans' medical data.
To who? Help me understand.
That's the part that is mystifying to me. I'm not sure why they were looking to sell the veterans' data, but I'm thinking it was to sort of try to make money in the insurance industry to sort of create more targeted products for them and sell them insurance.
Right.
Which the VA is supposed to be taking care of.
And then also, now that you're mentioning, that would also help in an insurance company deciding whether to take somebody on or not.
Exactly.
The liability thing, right?
Yeah.
Pre-existing. Oh boy. Right, here we go with that again. That's what that's about, I guess. Well, that's only assumptions on our part, folks. You can figure it out from there, I guess. Vincent Paterno, FedEx driver, says he wasn't fired over viral TikTok video.
Right. So this is something that actually cropped up September 16th and started to really blow up. It was about a driver in his FedEx uniform in his truck saying, hey, if you guys have a Biden sign or a Kamala Harris sign, or you're
Black
not
Lives
flying an
Matter.
American flag, I'm not going to deliver your stuff. Now,
Or Black Lives Matter.
He says he quit the company on September 3rd, and he's got the emails to prove it and the texts to prove it, but nothing is showing up because he's deleted all of his social media except for TikTok, where the video has gone viral. So,
and again, we always wonder. Okay, she bought her dream home. Then a sovereign citizen changed the locks. Sovereign citizen?
Now, I'm not sure if you've heard about this phenomenon, but it's people who basically declare themselves outside of the law.
Oh, yes. They're all over, especially the eastern United States, where someone buys a home, they think they own it, and then these people put a claim on it.
Yep. So this lady bought herself a Tudor home in Newark, New Jersey, and she started to get letters with letterhead, realistic quasi-legal language, claiming that there was an obscure 18th century treaty that gave the person who sent her the mail rights to claim her new house as his own.
Because of the property it was on.
Yeah, exactly. And so she went to work, came back one day, found that this person had broken into her house, changed the locks, and was in a police standoff with a SWAT team.
Jeez.
So this is essentially domestic and paper terrorism.
And it is, well, squatters gone mad.
Pretty much. I mean,
because this is just being a squatter, but using quasi, legalese to basically squat, because that's what they're doing. People who, I mean, you and I both, and I know because I know you and I've seen you talk about stuff. Being a squatter, depending on, there are some people who need a home. So please don't think that we're looking down our nose at people who are homeless. That's not what this is about, because these people aren't homeless, from what I understand. These are people who are doing this for a business opportunity.
Exactly.
Let's be clear.
They take it over. The person who's bought the house then forfeits on it. They foreclose on it, scoop the house, flip it. It's basically what it sounds like.
Terrible.
Yeah.
The restaurant host is suddenly at the front of the COVID wars. What did she do?
Well, it's not what she did, it's what everybody thinks that they're doing to them at the behest of the government.
Ah,
Uh,
okay.
it's it, it's it's the typical case where the lowest person on the totem pole is the one that receives the most
Or
flack.
the first person you run into.
Exactly, the first point of contact, which is not the way that this works at all. And
Yeah, that's
it's,
terrible.
you shouldn't be blaming the restaurant workers and the frontline employees and the store staff for the issues that you have with mass mandates. That's with government. You shouldn't be punishing private enterprise, especially not smaller businesses, because of something the government has put into place. If you're doing that, that's bass backwards. You should stop because it's embarrassing. You look like a 12-year-old.
But the trouble is, you can't stand outside yourself to see how young you are or how much of a tiered you are. World Bank cuts Asia growth outlook, calls for virus action.
Yeah, so basically, what we've got here is the World Bank has cut its economic growth forecast for developing countries in East Asia due to the impact of the Delta variant, and they're calling on the different governments to help the working poor and small businesses avoid long-term damage. Um, this is not surprising. Those less fortunate in society are being abandoned by the rich, and this should come as a
Left
surprise to none.
behind, abandoned, taken advantage of, all those
Exactly.
lovely things. It's the pandemic right now is it's not going away, which is basically delaying the inevitable, which is when it does go away, the bill's going to come in, Aaron. That's the biggest problem with the pandemic. The real pain hasn't been realized yet. We have a lot of government uh, activity and actions to protect people who are renters, right? To not be able to be kicked out because they don't have money, right? That is, I understand that, I sympathize with it, but the people that own the places do pay insurance, do probably have a mortgage, do have expenses, and if they can't get any money, then they're just put in the same position that we don't want to put people, period, in, right? Which is, we don't want people to suffer financially unfairly because of the pandemic. But it seems to be, Aaron, unavoidable. It just and what seems to be unavoidable as well is that story. What it taught, those two stories are kind of tied together. We're angry and we don't know where to direct it, and we don't know what the solution looks like. That's the world we live in. Too much doubt and not enough. We're suffering from a lot of insecurity, and generally speaking, society, right? Well, that's why I think these dishonest people who make these horrible, horrible suggestions and talk about the pandemic and how you get these fake drugs, you get people talking about vaccines. All this stuff is because as a society, we're in a very insecure position, and I don't know how we'll find the security and the backbone of knowledge to basically fight that kind of behavior. It's going to be tough coming out of it, Aaron.
It's not going to be easy, and I've already seen a lot of people online complaining that America and Canada are being wussified by people that obey government mandates about wearing masks and getting vaccines because we should be tough enough to fight our way through it, and it's only the flu. And it just, I've seen the effects of the flu firsthand. I know people that are long haulers. I've known people whose relatives have died of the disease. It's not a joke. And yet, the persistent belief still continues that somehow the government is only doing this to screw over people. They're not doing it in our best interests. And I don't
Yeah.
understand that.
But Aaron, to be the devil's advocate here, we are creating a lot of fear that it seems. I know it seems kind of counterintuitive, but the fact is, we can also think in a way that we worry more than we should, so that we don't act accordingly. The correct way is what I don't know if I'm splitting the hair here. I think if we fear something so much, then we cower and we don't figure out how to beat it. And there's got to be a way for people to understand that you have you get the vaccine if you're okay to take it. You don't go to hospital. Other people who aren't taking it, I understand why their motivation to not pander to people, right? But somehow we have to. This goes back to what I said before. When are we gonna be able to tell the difference between a meme, a post, and reality? When are we going to be able to tell? I have a difficulty. I find myself second guessing myself all the time, Aaron, and I like to think I'm a thoughtful person. So I can't imagine people who don't want to think about it, how out of the loop they are in understanding the realities of what's going on.
It is unfortunate, but we'll have to figure out a way to get through it somehow.
So, we we're talking about attacking a problem. Apparently, ravens like to attack too. A delivery drone? What the heck's going on there with a Google sister company?
Well, basically, what's happened is they've decided to start introducing delivery drones in parts of Canberra. Unfortunately, what they didn't realize was the effect that this would have on the local bird population, who don't like other flying things, apparently, and have actually been bringing down drones.
Oh,
So they've had to temporarily suspend it because of the potential environmental impact of flying these battery-powered things through other birds' territory.
wow. That's amazing. And that's like, hey, this is our turf,
Exactly.
right?
There's actually some footage that's been posted by ABC News on YouTube about it, and it's actually pretty neat to see. Magpies, as well as hawks and wedge-tailed eagles, have also been known to attack drones, not just the ravens. In addition, I'm not sure if you heard about this, but there was a police force in Denmark that was training eagles to attack them.
Wow. So I guess you could say that drones are being heckled and jeckled.
It's a very definite possibility. It's an idea that probably shouldn't have gotten off the ground in the first place.
There you go. I hate to drone on, but I think we should move on. Ontario doctor accused of spreading COVID-19 misinformation, barred from providing vaccine, and of course, mask exemptions.
So, the College of Physicians and Surgeons of Ontario, and I have no problems with naming this guy, says Dr. Patrick Phillips, who's in Englehart, about 45 kilometers south of Kirkland Lake, is incompetent and that he is engaged in disgraceful and dishonorable conduct. The allegations against Phillips have been referred to in its disciplinary tribunal, but a hearing date has not yet been set. He's basically been providing ivermectin to individuals, as well as fluvoxamine and atorvastatin. Atorvastatin is used primarily to prevent cardiovascular disease, and fluvoxamine is an antidepressant. He's also been providing exemptions for COVID-19 testing and vaccine exemptions.
Ontario asks those 18 to 24 to get Pfizer after increase in heart condition with Moderna.
Now, this isn't actually something that's not known. There has been incidences of pericarditis and myocarditis with Moderna, but Pfizer doesn't seem to have that issue. So,
wow, see what I mean? This is what I'm talking about. That's what I was trying to say before. Is that I think I'm pretty, up to date and woke when it comes to the vaccine and COVID, and I get blindsided. And this is one of those blindsides.
Well, this is the case of myocarditis and pericarditis are 1 in 5,000.
I understand.
So,
BC
but it's obviously still a risk. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay. I was just moving on. BC won't offer a third shot to residents with mixed doses. Here we go again.
Yeah, so this is another one of those confusing sort of situations where some people are saying it's okay, other people are not. Dr. Bonnie Henry says the province isn't actually offering third doses to those residents so they can travel. Instead, they're going to focus on ensuring mixed vaccine schedules are accepted in other countries.
Wow. Okay. Port Pass app may have exposed hundreds of thousands of users' personal data.
So this is an app that the Calgary Sports and Entertainment Corporation used, and they realized that there was a breach in their data shortly after one of the first Calgary Flames exhibition games. So many people were accessing the app that it crashed. Also, the newspaper actually managed to go and just pull up people's information on the website with no problems whatsoever. Yeah, that's a big yikes. So the problem is Alberta doesn't have a provincially sponsored or secure one. It's all being done by private companies.
Tuesday night football, Red Blacks down the Elks 34-24 for the second win of the season. Amazing. Two really good young quarterbacks. We need quarterbacks in the Canadian Football League.
Well, they were up 14-0 after the first 5 minutes in the first quarter. So that was a bit of a for the Edmonton Elk and a bit of a wake-up call.
Yeah.
Red Blacks managed to hold on and keep it relatively consistent, matching them score for score with the exception of the second quarter after that, and that was all they needed.
Absolutely. All right, Aaron, another great show. Thank you, sir, for everything.
Not a problem, Frank. Thank you.
All right. He's Aaron William Freeland. I'm Candid Frank Stanisci. Thank you for watching Candid Frank Live, airing Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This show can also be heard on the Spanglish World Radio Network. For Candid Frank Live, other news, entertainment, and sports programming we offer, please check out spanglishworld.ca. Spanglish World. Watch it, hear it, read it, download it, and live it. Thanks for watching, everybody. Ciao for now.